This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels to short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts. Good morning.
Good morning, Sarah. Look at those lights behind you. You have a DJ set going on?
That was like a disco. What? Whoa. Is this like lights? Is that like noise sensitive? That just started happening.
What is that? It's so cool. You got a little nightclub set up from the night before. I see what's going on.
You know how we do? Oh, goodness. Well, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad to see people already tuning in. And again, it's been 2 weeks, and it feels like a month, we were saying backstage, but we are back.
We are back. We're good. We got our hair done. I'll speak for myself.
Yeah, I don't know about mine. I need a haircut.
I mean, looking fly.
Well, we were traveling around the globe for the first time. We were both traveling a lot.
Okay, so wait, we have to hear where you went, because you did something really exciting. You went to one of my favorite cities in the world.
Yes.
What was going on?
I went to Buenos Aires, and I loved being there. My brother was getting married, my baby brother, and he created one of the best wedding events, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I have ever been to.
That's awesome.
And if you're watching, David, congratulations. Great job. Welcome to the family, to his wife, Barbie. We're glad to have you in the fam. And it was just awesome. Like, they do things right down there. And I have for our real-time recap, a little hospitality story.
Ooh, okay.
I learned something about myself and my family is overnight trips seem good on paper because you're going to get there like in the morning. But we did 2 overnight trips in the same week. And oh my God, I'm not equipped for that unless Delta and American want to give us some first-class seats where they lay flat.
That was hard for you.
A little rough in the back. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2 kids, very little sleep.
Yeah.
Can't really recline. I just learned that about myself. On paper, look great. I think I might do some daytime flights. But Buenos Aires is a city, amazing. You feel like you're in Europe. Great food, great people. Just walking the streets was nice. I loved it there.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
And you made a quick turnaround trip too, which is like even more shocking. I thought you were in this place for like a week or 2, but you were there for just 3 days. Where did you go? Yeah.
So I actually ended up going to New Zealand for 3 days and talk about overnight trips. So, I mean, we definitely got pretty lucky. Maybe I have to share like my secrets for how to like sleep better on a plane. Obviously it's a bit different if you have to take care of kids and you're kind of,
they're very well behaved, but I need some tips.
But yeah, so we basically left at 10 p.m. on a Friday night in LA and landed after a 12-hour flight, which is actually not too bad. Yeah. That's what, you've traveled a lot when 12 hours isn't too bad. And we landed at 6 a.m. on Sunday in Auckland, New Zealand, had the whole day in Auckland. And then the next day flew to Queenstown. So the South Island, which I had not been to before. Last time, by the way, oh my gosh, the last time I was in Auckland, I was 15 years old. I bought a skirt. I still have this skirt. I should have done like a thing. I can still wear it.
I was like, did you wear it there?
Oh, no. That too. No, I did not wear it. It was what? Okay, I'm just gonna show our age. Do you remember that style in the late 90s where like women would wear like a black skirt over their pants?
Yeah,
it was
or
like
their
that,
jeans.
Yeah, or their jeans. It was such a weird style. So it was that type of skirt. But I loved it. And so, yeah, it was nice to go back to Auckland. But we did 2 days in Queenstown and then basically flew back on Wednesday, left at a 3 p.m. flight in Queenstown on Wednesday, flew to Auckland, had a layover, landed in LA at 1 p.m. Wednesday. How wild is that?
That's pretty wild, but I think it's pretty cool. That's a cool adventure to go on.
It was fun. And I will say this, what I did is I knew I was flying on a later flight. Not everybody needs to do it, but I did a extra hard workout that morning. And I also made myself get up earlier than usual, so that by the time I got on the flight, I was like, oh my gosh, just have the dinner come out so I can eat and go to sleep. And I almost even just didn't even have dinner and just went straight to sleep. I was so tired. But I slept, and that first flight, we were premium economy. So it wasn't lay flat seats, just so you know. Okay. And I slept 8.5 hours.
That's pretty impressive.
Crazy. So
I just watched a lot of movies in the back.
Yeah. That tends to happen. Oh my gosh. Wait, do you get, this is such a crazy thing. Do you get extra emotional when you watch movies on a plane?
Extra emotional?
Yeah.
I don't know if I got extra emotional. No.
You're like, I don't even get emotional.
I do, yes, but not extra on there.
No.
You all watching, we're just having our coffee talk. Thanks for joining us. We're going to keep talking about our trips.
We'll
get to some news.
We will get to news. All right. Anyway, that is actually a fact that people do tend to get more emotional when
I feel like maybe I did. I finished one of the movies. I watched a couple different things, and I teared up because I don't know. Maybe I got to go back and see. I thought maybe I was just tired.
Yeah, well, it's a thing that tends to happen. So yeah, somebody was actually posting about that the other day on social media. So let us know. Do you guys ever find yourselves getting more emotional on planes? It's a thing. It is actually a thing.
Lou, good morning from Charleston, where it is hot and humid. Not as hot and humid as here in Miami.
How is that?
Called it.
You're supposed to try and convince me to move to Miami, and
you have to embrace it. This is the part you have to embrace. So when it's hot out, like yesterday, it was 90 degrees and humid. It's like we're going into your own personal sauna and steam room. You just go out there, you enjoy the sweat, you cool off with a nice drink out there. You're good to go.
Woo. Ooh.
And you go to the beach.
And then you go to the beach. Okay, fine. We like beach life. I was just in Texas, and it was hot and humid there too. So that Texas heat is something else. Oh my gosh.
Steve is just a hospitality robot. No emotion.
Oh, stop. That's not the case at all.
Manzi.
This
is my AI avatar speaking right now. Okay.
Thanks for showing up. All right. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and get into some topics here because we could chit chat. No, not emotional on planes. Watch fearful movies on overnight trips. You're okay. All right. That's fine. Whatever. I'll just speak for myself.
I finished the Harry Potter series for the first time. Didn't have a chance to do that.
I've never watched this.
From Austin, Texas.
Hello.
I don't know who it is as LinkedIn user, but hello.
Yeah, let us know who you are. It just came in as LinkedIn user. Okay. Let's talk.
Travel. Marriott has hotels in places we travel, and Marriott has some big news. Why don't you kick it off for us, Sarah?
Oh, Marriott, because Marriott's my friend. They've introduced their newest soft brand, Series by Marriott, targeting independent hotels worldwide. By the way, this is Marriott's 33rd brand, and it's designed to sort of give independent hotels access to Marriott Bonvoy without requiring full branding, which is interesting. So this launch is actually aligning with Marriott's strategy to offer this sort of flexible affiliation options and then also expand globally. So that's kind of neat.
I think it's cool. Look, a lot of hotels, the reason they struggle is why? They can't get bookings. They can't get reservations, right? Especially in their slower season. So if you're an independent hotel, I don't know what the fees look like to join Series by Marriott, but if you're willing to pay up to get reservations that are Marriott approved, this is a good move for those independent hotels and a good way for Marriott to continue growing without having to spend money on buying hotels or trying to manage more hotels. And there's a lot less standards, it looks like. I like how they put it. Like they give the hotel their individuality. They can continue being who they are. I'm sure there's some kind of standards there. It's just not all the Marriott branded standards that you need to have to be a property.
Well, it's definitely interesting. And it's funny because, it's not just Marriott, but obviously like Hilton, Hyatt, a lot of these bigger brands that just have all of these, smaller brands under them. But it is, as you mentioned, like it is a nice option for smaller hotels so that they can kind of have access to more visibility, as you said. So
And you see it, like Marriott was trying, they did with Sonder, right? They started adding Sonder properties. Then they just bought Citizen M hotels, which they purchased, right? But they're starting to add more and more to their portfolio. But this is an interesting way to get, look, if you're Marriott and somebody joins, you're getting automatic revenue by getting commissions off every booking. Is basically what it is. Yeah. So it's easy money as long as that property holds up their end and doesn't make your brand look bad, right? What I would hate to see is series by Marriott all started getting bad reviews because they let in these properties that didn't meet their standards, which you kind of saw a little bit with their Marriott homes and villas. They started allowing a lot of product in, and then people would stay there like, this is not a Marriott standard, right? Yeah. So it's that interesting way to see. And I see Michael, what is he saying? Series developed specifically for a developer in India, kind of tailor-made brand.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but which we saw in the article, starting in India, but I think it's just their way of now getting on over here through Europe and expanding across other countries, getting these individual properties into the brand.
Yeah. Well, it's
Michael, you read the same article. Good job.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, and also, I mean, that just shows you that if it was tailor-made, I mean, it was made because it's clearly a situation that, exactly. So it's great. So.
All right, we'll continue to see what they continue to develop. I'm waiting to see once they get to the 35th brand, which one that will be.
Oh, gosh. The Steve and Sarah Hotel.
Yes. Well, you never know. I have an announcement that I think our producer will let me announce next week. So
who?
May have a brand we could add into that Marriott that we're creating.
Maybe. All right. Cool. You want to move on to our next topic here?
Let's do it, because this one's a big one.
This one is a big one. So hotels support the tax-free tips bill to ease hiring challenges. So this proposed bill would exempt service workers' tips from federal taxes, similar to a longstanding policy in the casino industry. I actually didn't realize that was the case in the casino industry. So they're, kind of hotel groups are kind of saying that this would attract more hospitality staff, kind of in the middle of this sort of like ongoing labor shortages. But I mean, obviously it can also complicate things. So what are your thoughts? This is.
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty big, especially, I came up through food and beverage in hotels, and being a food and beverage director, you see how much money is collected in tips. And we can all be honest here. I think a lot of people are not reporting their cash tips.
I definitely didn't.
Right. So
I will go on the record saying I did not.
So I'm curious to see now where service charge distributions, right? Because the service charge is collected by the hotel on behalf of their team and distributed as they see fit to their team. That's how it is here in Florida and in most states. So I'm curious to see how that changes, because most of these hotels you go to, when you come visit Miami, you're like, man, there's 20% service charge on all these checks. Right?
Yeah, that's wild.
Right. So what happens when that service charge, is that going to continue being taxed? That's what I'm curious about, because that's a lot. That's millions and millions and millions of dollars just in individual properties. Right. So I'm curious to see how that gets divvied up and if that's going to be taxed. But for the people that are collecting cash, you said most people aren't reporting it anyway, so I don't think it's going to be huge. It's now with these service charge parts that will be interesting. And for the servers, I'm very happy. Servers, bartenders, food runners, dishwashers, hosts, all these people that collect tips, concierge. Now you don't have to worry about hiding your cash and how you get paid. So I'm excited for you all.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, that's always been an interesting, a tightrope to walk, because obviously it's like kind of like cash, like what they see that doesn't necessarily count. But then at the same time, it's like you want to show, like if you're looking to buy a house one day or to get a car, you need to show that you're actually making more money. And I do fear, without getting like too crazy with this, but just a very high level, is that a lot of times people fear that they're like, oh well, if I'm saying that I'm making this, I have to pay all this in taxes. And I think that we can really educate people a lot more in how they can approach their taxes, that it's not necessarily something to be afraid of, that it's So that's something that I've never been scared of, but I definitely in like the concierge world, it's like, I want everything in cash because I don't want to have to report anything. And it's like, but it'll be okay. So I think that a lot of that also comes with sort of like financial education, that hopefully we can see that more within the hotel space and just overall in general. So
yeah, look, and it's interesting because now people carry less cash. They're using like things like e-tip, right? And digital tipping. And so how that all gets tracked now will be interesting. Yeah. I remember as a pool attendant, man, I would go home with hundreds of dollars in my pocket and you just never reported that. So
as a bartender, I mean, I remember like making like $700 in a night. I mean, now granted, like I was barely 21 and I was also working 2 jobs and going to school. But yeah, it was.
What's the most extravagant thing you bought with that tip money?
Okay, I can tell you, it wasn't then, but it was actually when I was in LA, like later on, where we were making pretty decent money and I was working at the Peninsula. And one birthday, sounds so weird, I was like, I'm going to treat myself to a shopping spree. And I went to Nordstrom.
You said it?
What? Yeah, just like that. That's still how I said it. I went to Nordstrom and I think I spent like $800. This is funny. I spent $850 on clothing. I bought all these random things. And then I remember over the next couple of months, I looked at what I bought and I was like, why did I do that? Because it was either they weren't classic pieces or I was like, that's such a weird style, like whatever. And I remember being like, no, never again. That wasn't like a worthwhile use of your, I mean, it felt good to do, or fun. And then moving forward, then what I would do is I would treat other people. And so like my boyfriend at the time, he had a younger sister. So like when she came out to LA, I was like, whatever you want. We went to Urban Outfitters and I like treated her to stuff. And I felt more enjoyment out of like treating her to something that she wouldn't normally get treated to than like me going and buying that.
You're a giver. You see? Mine was, I remember I was 19 years old on the pool deck at the Lowe's collecting that cash. I was like, I made a lot today. I'm going to get a subwoofer in my car. And that's what I ended up
Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh.
Bumping around here on South Beach.
Yeah.
But for listeners out there, what's the most extravagant thing you bought with your cash that you didn't report? So let us know here in the comments. We would love to see what you all purchased with that tip money.
That's funny. That's actually a good one. Like, get that tip money. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to sing that. So why don't we go ahead and talk about our next hotel topic here? Wyndham. They are now, their rewards programs are now allowing members to redeem points for concerts, sporting events, and Applebee's.
Ooh, I like that made it the headline.
Love that.
Not Chili's. We got Applebee's.
We got Applebee's. Exactly. So that's kind of cool. I mean, we've seen this obviously with other hotel brands, and credit cards and all sorts of things that, do points and rewards programs. But what are your thoughts?
It's all about the lifestyle. And so if you like that Wyndham lifestyle, that's great. You're going to go travel for a concert. You stay at a Wyndham place. You're going to go to Applebee's next door, right? And you're going to go enjoy and get your points, and those points will be used, and you can continue staying at these places that you enjoy staying at. And we know Wyndham, for people that we've talked about them in the past, they have a lot of entry-level places. They have a lot of deals to be had at their places. Now they're trying to like push up slightly higher into like the mid-scale. I don't know if they're going to get to that luxury that they talked about, but I think that mid-scale space will be good, and these points will help get more and more people in there. As we see Ivan, the best thing, he bought fishing gear. I was just talking about that. I live in Miami and I haven't done enough fishing really at all. I need to start getting into that. I was just talking about that yesterday.
Fishing. I can tell you all about fishing. I've arranged many fishing trips.
All right, well, let's talk offline. I need some setups here.
I know a lot about it. It's weird.
But I like what they're doing. Good job getting their point system together. I just think any hotel brand at this point should have some kind of rewards because you want to feel rewarded for staying at them. And there's a lot that don't still, like some of these smaller brands, like I want to be extra loyal to them, but then you don't really get anything. And people are used to it now everywhere, right?
Totally. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's all I do. I just play the loyalty game with the brands that I stay with the most. So like, I mean, obviously, and actually this year I'm now expanding. So obviously everybody knows I'm loyal to Delta, but I have a couple of trips on United coming up. So
oh my God, please, let's get the alarms. Delta, do you hear this?
Woo. Trying to go for that loyalty match program. So we'll see. And then I always like Whenever I'm traveling, I'm kind of like alternating between Hilton and Marriott, depending on like what's going on and the location where I can, and then obviously other places. So yeah, I'm like, we're just going to dabble in all of it.
I like it. You see?
Yeah.
Well, let me know how Applebee's is, and we will talk after.
Oh, that's so fun. I just went there Friday. I'm kidding.
You're bartending on the weekends there.
Yeah, exactly. Now we know. Okay, let's talk about travel. You did something.
So I got
different.
lucky. I didn't get hit with any of this bad weather, but my brother got hit with it on the way back from Buenos Aires. He stayed an extra week. And so why don't we give the headline? I'll tell his story. I think
sure. Why don't you share the headline?
The headline: severe storms caused Memorial Day travel disruptions. Over 400 flights were canceled and thousands more delayed due to storms impacting major U.S. airports over the holiday weekend. And Miami was one of those cities. There was a terrible thunderstorm going on over that weekend. And my brother, who was flying back, couldn't make it. And they had to like circle around the Bahamas forever and then couldn't make it into Miami, landed in the Bahamas, made them stay on the plane with no water for 4 hours or for several hours. I forget how long it was. Then they let them off the airplane, but kept them corralled in the Bahamas airport because there's no custom agents allowed to get them in. So they were all sitting there and not allowed to leave to use the restrooms. So they had to stay in the zone. And then finally they said, okay, we can't keep you here much longer. So they put them in a hotel at 7 a.m. They got to the hotel, and then the hotel kicked them out at 11 a.m. as checkout. And so he's like, all right, we're not leaving. We're staying. And they ended up going to a hotel for a day on the Bahamas and figured out their flights after. But pretty wild.
Way. That's a crazy story.
After they got married. That was their way back.
I mean, if you can't get through that, but honestly, I mean, like weather is a big deal when it comes to like you can't, there's nothing you can do about it. That's why I always say, like in the summertime, pack your patience because so many different things are happening. I would also like to just draw attention to the fact that this was on the East Coast. So, West Coast people.
Listen, Miami, it was bad thunderstorms. It was bad. I will tell you that during that.
Yeah. No, that is wild. And also like what a time when there's so many people traveling. I was very lucky that I flew back flew to Dallas and then flew back, which is very easy from Los Angeles. But it was interesting because even Sunday morning at 6 a.m., the airport was definitely busy. So this was a weekend. Like people were out there. They're definitely traveling. So
people are still moving. Everywhere was packed. Every plane I was on was sold out. It's just amazing to see. Continues to roll.
Yes. All right. I am excited for this.
Yeah, I was excited to hear how many of these you've been to.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. I'm pulling everything up here. So, okay. We are talking about, who was this? USA Today has announced the 10 best summer travel destinations for 2025. That is so cool.
How do they make these lists?
What?
So I always love how they make these lists, and I'm always curious. But
I do too because I'm looking at this list. You want to rattle through it, or do you?
Why don't I go 10 through 5, and then you can do 5 through 1?
Ooh, perfect, great.
Sound good?
Good.
All right. Number 10. Oh, I just clicked on the ad, so it took me away from the article. All right. Number 10, Amelia Island, Florida. We'll go through it quick. Number 9, Cody, Wyoming. Number 8, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Number 7, Block Island, Rhode Island. Number 6, Tybee Island, Georgia. And over to you for 5 through 1.
Okay. Number 5, Philadelphia.
Yep.
Pennsylvania. Number 4, Saratoga Springs, New York, especially if you like horses. Number 3, not far away from me, Catalina Island in California. Number 2, Ocean City, New Jersey. Oh, and number 1, Mackinac Island, Michigan.
Let's talk about number 1. Have you been to number 1?
No, I have not been to number 1, but I have heard incredible things about Mackinac Island.
Yeah, anyone out there listening or watching, have you been to Mackinac Island, Michigan? Because it says between Michigan's upper and lower peninsulas, you'll find Mackinac Island, where you'll ride on horse-drawn carriages along car-free roads, observe fudge being made, and then sample it, and tour the historic Fort Mackinac. This Lake Huron-based continental island is also home to Mackinac Island State Park, where you can hike, bike, kayak, and take photos of the local natural beauty, including the stunning limestone arch rock. Picture looks beautiful.
It looks amazing. So this is an interesting list. As somebody that travels a lot and sees where people travel to, what I like about this list is that, yes, they're definitely destinations, but I feel like they're kind of like, they're almost like you have to be in the know sort of destinations. I mean, in the sense that, I mean, obviously, like everybody knows Ocean City, New Jersey, but it's like that's generally people that are going there have probably been going there their whole life. Same for like Mackinac Island, but and Catalina Island as well. Like if you were born and raised in LA, that kind of can become part of your summer, experience. And so I think they did an interesting job with these summer escapes because they're a little off the beaten path, but they are definitely summer destinations.
Yeah, the only big city was Philadelphia. So I've been to Philadelphia, but all the other places I have not been to. I think I was in Amelia Island when I was young, but I think it goes to show you they want people to explore a little bit more. People are looking for the towns and the cities that they haven't really explored. And it was something I talked about this past week of being a tourist in your own backyard.
Yes.
Right. And going to check out things that maybe you haven't seen.
And
And Lou said, looks like the list avoids the hot areas of the country other than the one in Florida. That's North Florida too. But yeah, they always put a different list there with all different. Usually when it's cold, everything comes on down to where we are. But in the hot time, it's interesting to see where people summer, right? Like, this is where I summer and go and do things.
Totally. Well, Catalina Island's so interesting because it took me probably about like 10 years of living out here before I ever ended up going to Catalina Island. And then once I went, I was like, oh, this is really awesome. And again, it's kind of one of those, like they like limited, you're kind of driving. I mean, they do have cars on the island, but I mean, it's limited in what you can do, but they also have this cool walkway along the water. You feel like you're in like Italy or something.
Cool. Did you ever go to the Catalina Wine Mixer?
I have not been to the Catalina Wine Mixer. I've heard lots of things about that.
It's like the biggest place of helicopter leases in the U.S.
Yes, I have friends that stay very busy doing stuff for the Catalina Wine Mixer. Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing. People will know if they know out there. Anyhow.
Really? Oh, that reference? Yeah, I know. But it is an actual thing.
I like when people go see these things and go out to new places. I got to add some of these to my list. I see Paul saying Minneapolis is pretty good sized. I hear you, Paul. I know. Aren't you in Minneapolis, Paul? Or you're in Minnesota? So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you, Paul.
Good airport. Great airport. So.
Yeah, listen, a lot of good places there.
Yeah.
What about you? Where is your summer destination? Let's give one that you would want to go to.
Ooh, how about, wait, can I tell you where I'm going this summer? How about that?
How about that? Yes.
I've got 2 destinations so far. I'm going to Croatia. I've never been. So that'll be fun. That'll be happening in June. And then towards the end of July, I will be going on a cruise and checking out the Norwegian fjords.
Ooh, very
I've also never been there. So kind of fun.
Lou's been to 3 of the 10.
Yes. Tybee. I've been to Tybee, Philly, as well as Catalina Island. But that's it.
3 of the 10 as well.
Maybe Ocean City, New Jersey. Drove through. I don't know.
Well, I only have one trip planned so far, and that's the high tech in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Ooh,
very exciting.
What? Okay, we have to figure out something. You and I are definitely gonna have to make sure that we make it to a couple of like conferences or something. So together,
yes, we will make sure we plan it out. But yeah, I think all these little islands are cool. I like checking out new things. I want to explore some new places in the U.S. because there's so many cities and towns and just unique places just in our country that I want to go check out.
Totally,
because it is amazing to see. But anyhow,
totally,
that is our list here today.
All right. Okay, I'm dying to hear your real-time recap.
I have 2. Can I do 2?
You don't have to ask permission. Yes.
I have 2. I have a quick one. So the first one, again, being a tourist in your own backyard. Yeah. I watched a YouTube video. I wish I forgot the guy's name, but he went to this little tiny island in the Everglades, and I watched it. You know what? That looks cool. So I was going to go solo, and I told my dad, hey, just so you know, I'm driving through the Everglades to Chokoloskee, Florida, just so someone knows where I'm at in case something happens. He's like, hey, I'll go with you. And so my dad came along, and we drove through the Everglades on a road called Loop Road, which is all dirt and mud, and you go through the Everglades 24 miles. You get to Everglades City, which used to be where the cocaine cowboys were, where they used to run cocaine through the South.
Sure.
You drive through Everglades City to Chokoloskee, and that is a tiny island where they have this trading store called the Smallwood Store, which is a trading post made in 1906. And we went to go see this store. That was the whole point of this trip. And it just happened to be that the Seminole Indians were cooking for the first time at the store, and they had their traditional foods. And I bought an Indian burger, as they called it, and ate it underneath the Smallwood Store, looking out over the water of the Everglades. And it was just a cool experience I never thought I would have with my dad. So, and the Indians were just awesome. The Seminole Indian tribe were so nice. They talked to us for like an hour about what they do and how they do it. And they wanted us to come back and please share a picture and share a video so that more and more people come to our tiny little island. So that was awesome.
That's neat.
Number one.
Love that.
Number two was in Buenos Aires. My daughter got really sick, had to get prescription medicine, didn't have insurance in Buenos Aires. We did have our doctor send what we needed.
Okay.
I was able to talk to the pharmacist. I said, Steve, this is going to be very expensive for you, but if you need the medicine, we can get it. They made sure they got everything we needed. And when I went to go pay, how much do you think it was? Very expensive.
$20.
$14. So,
oh my gosh.
But it made the whole trip because my daughter got very sick and they weren't allowed to truly to do it, but they saw what was going on and they made it happen for us and everything worked out. So just good people all over the world trying to help people.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I love that. I think that's always my favorite reminder when you're traveling is like how many good and incredible people there are in the world. So I'll quickly just go into my real-time recap. So I had this sort of like impromptu trip to New Zealand, and to show you the power of concierge, I actually posted about this on LinkedIn. One of my friends, part of Lake Lador, or have been for many, many years, and he's a concierge in Auckland at the Hilton Auckland. And it always like, come to my hotel, let me know when you come to Auckland. I'm like, yeah, sure. Because who knows, it's like there's so many places to visit in the world. You just never know when you really are going to make it to a certain destination. And everything came together like last minute. And I felt kind of bad because I'm like, hi, so 2 days notice, but I'm coming to Auckland on Sunday. And we're staying at your hotel. And so we ended up staying at his hotel. We set it all up and he was like, no problem. I'll take care of the rest. Seriously arranged a car service for us and then was like, I have the day planned for you. We had a breakfast together and then went straight to go visit the Sky Tower. And we went on a harbor cruise. We kind of walked around the different neighborhoods and it was this perfect, first of all, it was the perfect day to just be there and just like, we didn't even have to think. We just had somebody showing us around. But like, it was just what we needed. It kept us awake long enough as well. So when you're kind of like trying to combat the jet lag, but it was this wonderful, wonderful like introduction. And like none of that was asked for and none of that needed to happen, but I'm so glad it did. And it was such a heartwarming experience. And I was just like, yeah, this is why you call your concierge. This is why you ask a concierge. So
you've got me converted. I didn't ask concierges all that much all the time, even though I worked in hotels. Now I trust them, especially if they're part of the Clay Door.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. So anyway, I just had to do a shout out because that was great. Gustavo is fantastic. We've seriously known each other for 10 years. So to finally be there and to be at his property, which is stunning, by the way, an incredible location. It was very, very cool.
I love it.
Yes.
All right. Hospitality quote. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people, from the great Steve Jobs.
I love that.
I love that. I believe in that big time. I'm a big team person. And that's what I'm excited to announce next week is the team that we put together to do this special project. So big announcement coming next week. But it is a great team of people. And that's what makes the difference, right? It could have been something I do on my own. Not as good, but with a team of people around you, just like we have. Me, you, Will, like we got a great team here. So I love working with great people.
The teamwork really, every time I think about all the jobs that I've done, it's all about, to me, that to me is like what I thrive on. Like, I just love that sort of teamwork effort, whether it's creativity, ingenuity, like all of that stuff that, like, that can just inspire you to think a little bit differently. I always say, like, several heads is just better than one, just because, again, you've got somebody else's perspective, or they have they get like a stroke of inspiration that can really take something and make it 10 times more engaging or dimensional or whatever it is. So big fan of teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. Cheesy, but I love it.
It's true. It's true. It's true, man. What a great show. I'm always happy to be back here with you. We went a little long because we had so many good travel stories. And for the listeners and watchers, listen, we love being back with you and you sharing all the places that you've been and all just interacting with us. It's always fun to have you. Anything we want to close with, Sarah? Anything you want to add?
Oh, no, just it's good to be back. And yeah, you'll be seeing more of us even in the next couple weeks. Oh, wait, yes, there's something I want to end with.
Oh my God.
It's birthday season.
Whose birthday is it?
It's both of our birthdays, but you go first, okay?
June 2nd, I will be 53 years old. I'm looking pretty
stop
good.
that. No.
I say, if you say you're older by 10 years, like, man, you look good. No?
No.
All right, I'll be 43.
So, yeah. And then I'm just following you by 7 days later.
I know. I'm so much older than you.
So much older, this was wild to discover. I don't know. I get so excited when you find out that people are, have similar birthdays.
2 Geminis in the house.
Yes. 2 Geminis in the house. Woohoo.
You never know what you're going to get.
Oh, who knows yet? Another personality. That's what we'll get.
Well, until next week, everybody, stay hospitable.
Bye.